that
Okay,
just stood
so
out to me is
Kanye
when
is
you were
running for
talking about your
president, but
grandmother and
nobody
faith
wants it.
in this
Why
moment. There
isn't
are a
he?
lot of people who make assumptions about you, about the ways that you would be engaging right now. And they may even say, like, you're
to another person, right? For me, it comes down to, after you get beyond the rage, rage is justified under oppression. It also can be really dangerous. You got to be careful not to be consumed by your own rage.
yeah.
And that's something that I've worked really hard to the oppressor, for the world to see and for them to see themselves. So
See,
I was
this
really
is a presidential
encouraged by
speech.
how powerfully this generation was able to hold that mirror. And then the response of the world seeing and responding. I was deeply encouraged by the innate connectivity of the protesters globally.
You have a project, Emancipation. I want to talk to you about this.
I was strictly only creating images that were of the highest intelligence, the highest power. I needed to be as high and fly as high as I could possibly fly, so young black kids would see that kind of flying, and really all kids.
See, dude, that's actually trying to make the younger generation
as not
reach for the stars.
only white movie stars could do. For me and for,
Guy that
for
can
what
talk.
my role is in the
Guy that's loved
community,
globally.
the reason I chose Emancipation now
And guy
is
that actually
more than
has
ever,
real
we
love
have to
and
understand the reality of
wanting to
where we
help
came from.
everybody in the world.
The problem is there's an absence of knowledge about the history.
And guy
It's
that's
really
this big and
difficult
doesn't
to
have an
elevate
ego
without
the size of the Empire State Building.
knowledge and wisdom
I'm not saying
being presented
Kanye's
in a way that the youth
ego
among
is that
us
small.
in their most
I'm saying it
powerful
they
form
when someone's
are
smaller
also
than the Empire
educated.
State Building.
It's like reforming policing. Everybody agrees.
Or defunding. The conversation's been on defund. Like, if you're gonna, have this amount of money going to them, why don't you take some of those resources to really create safer communities? Like, 911 shouldn't just be about calling the police, the fire department sometimes, the medic sometimes. Maybe there's a mental health responder.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the idea of defund the police is properly incendiary.
When people hear defunding, they just think moving something. But the broader framework, what it's actually called is invest, divest. And so the framework is that divesting from policing, as well as other systems of punishment like jails and prisons, and reinvesting those funds into community resources and institutions.
Yeah, defunding the police I get, but you don't want to defund prisons.
Don't have
The second funding gets away from prisons,
alternatives to
the prisoners get treated worse.
That don't center around policing, because this system of policing it's not creating the
unless you're gonna take some
supposed to
laws
do.
off the board, like legalize more stuff. Then overcrowding goes away. Then you can take money away, because if there's less money needed, you can take money away. So if there's less laws on the books that don't need to be there, like prostitution has been around since ever.
What's the fucking point of contention, right? The point of contention is that's not what the person's hearing, right? So that's where communication rules come in very handy. Here's what the answer is when someone says Black Lives Matter. Yes, I agree. Black Lives Matter. But when you get out there, for somebody to respond, all lives matter.
Blue lives matter.
Blue lives matter. It's like,
yeah, but there's something else too. Slave mentality isn't just something that black people carry. Mentality about enslaved persons could also be about the way that you see a life, the value of a life. Part of that argument is I'm going to push back because I don't even want to address that. The conversation around Breonna Taylor's death, the conversations around George Floyd, the countless other people who didn't have a video or didn't have a hashtag. I was going through and reading stories of people who didn't go viral. There's a laundry list of their criminal record. All of that diminishes their humanity. By the time you get to the page, you're like, shit, of course they got you. You know what I mean? Like, it gets you to the point where you justify their particular life, doesn't matter. Over time, that math says that there's a whole bunch of black lives that don't matter.
When we move through the world,
yeah, the only time someone dies and that criminal record should be brought up is he raped a child.
And it's never going to be
okay.
different than that. It's the way
he killed hundreds of people. Okay.
You are going to come
he sold drugs to support his family. That's okay. That guy shouldn't die for that.
And they've got insane narratives running through their minds, and as you walk through the street,
why isn't he president?
With that all day long. So in trying to build systems, because that's what's going to happen now, we're going to build new systems, right? And in building our new systems, you're still going to be confronting those same defiled and degraded minds in these circumstances. The problem isn't completely in the system. The problem is in the hearts and minds of people. It demands that our attention begin on our hearts and minds. As a country, I would hope that a part of what we're learning right now is the